All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking what I like to call the physics walla anomaly. We're talking about a wild journey that goes from a completely bare-bones YouTube channel all the way to a multi-billion-dollar IPO.
Okay, let's dive into this because this number right here is it's absolutely staggering. 40,000 crore rupees. That is the expected valuation of Physics Wallah as they gear up for their impending initial public offering. We're looking at a story that completely defies the standard laws of modern business. To really grasp the gravity of that number, you've got to realize that the founder, Alakh Panday, started this whole venture with just 30,000 rupees in personal savings back in 2016, going from 30 grand to an expected 40,000 crore valuation in under a decade without bleeding cash. Honestly, it's practically unheard of in the modern startup ecosystem. It is a literal masterclass in organic growth and revenue scaling. Now, what makes this valuation even more of an anomaly is the environment it grew up in. If you look at the broader edtech industry over the last few years, it resembles a financial disaster zone. We've seen industry giants literally burning through billions of dollars, which led to massive layoffs, severe losses, and even catastrophic bankruptcies. But then, standing right in the middle of this crater is Physics Wallah. They present this bizarre paradox: consistent revenue growth, incredible profitability for years, and a multi-billion-dollar valuation. So how exactly did they build a fortress when everyone else's castles were just crumbling to the ground?
Well, to figure out their financial engine, we have to trace the timeline. In 2016, Alakh Panday just started uploading physics lessons to YouTube. It was organic, super authentic, and it slowly built this deeply loyal audience. Fast forward to May 2020. The pandemic hits, forcing students online, so he and his co-founder, Pratik Maheshwari, officially launched the Physics Wallah app. The demand was so overwhelming that the app actually crashed on day one. And get this, from that official launch, it took them just 25 months to hit a $1.1 billion valuation, becoming a unicorn in 2022. But, the true catalyst for this massive empire was actually a much, much smaller number. 8,000 rupees. That was the monthly income the YouTube channel started generating from AdSense in its early days. For Alakh, who was teaching in an offline coaching center at the time, that tiny stream of revenue was his proof of concept. It convinced him to quit his day job and commit to YouTube full-time. And honestly, relying on that organic, content-driven revenue early on built the very bedrock for what would become a remarkably low customer acquisition cost. Let's move to and see how this builds, because that early focus on free, accessible content really unlocked what I call their secret profitability code. You see, while all their competitors were out there raising massive rounds of venture capital just to afford user acquisition, Physics Wallah was quietly doing something else. They were building a fiercely loyal, massive audience completely for free, fundamentally changing the unit economics of education technology. The absolute foundation of this code is hyper-affordable pricing. Alakh Panday made a strict commitment to keep entrance-level courses incredibly cheap. When they rolled out their very first paid course on the app, they priced it at just 999 rupees. Contrast that with the market standard for engineering and medical entrance coaching at the time. Those places routinely demanded 50,000, 70,000, or even upwards of a lakh. By charging just a fraction of the cost, they didn't just compete for students, they entirely opened up a brand new market in Tier 3 and Tier 4 cities across India. And this brilliantly illustrates their overarching business strategy. Most traditional edtechs operate on a premium model. They spend heavily to acquire a single student, so they have to charge a massive fee to make a high margin off a smaller volume of students. Think of it like selling Ferraris, right? But Physics Wallah flipped the script to what we can call the Zudio or Maruti model. They operate on incredibly low margins per student, but they make up for it with massive, unprecedented volume. By 2024, they had successfully taught over 24 lakh, that is, 2.4 million paid students. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how exactly they survive on such low margins. It becomes super obvious when you look at these marketing budgets. Take a giant like Byju's. They were spending a staggering 4,100 crores, 81% of their total revenue, just on marketing. Unacademy was at 61%. They were quite literally buying their growth. Physics Wallah, their total marketing budget was just 11 crores, representing a mere 5% of their revenue. This near-zero marketing spend is the ultimate differentiator. It means almost every single rupee a student pays goes directly toward improving the product, not onto a billboard to acquire the next student. So you're probably wondering, how on earth do they get away with a 5% marketing budget? The answer is this unparalleled organic funnel. They don't need celebrity endorsements because the founder is the celebrity.
Their main YouTube channel sits at almost 1.4 crore subscribers. But they didn't stop there. They spun out into 44 regional and niche channels, amassing over 5 crore followers across their entire network. That is a massive pool of students enjoying free, high-quality content. When Physics Wallah launches a paid course, they already have a captive, trusting audience waiting. And that translates to over 1 crore app downloads, maintaining a stellar 4.6-star rating. Word of mouth does all the heavy lifting for them.
And all that organic trust, it translates directly into aggressive, hard number revenue scaling. Just look at this growth curve. In 2022, they generated 234 crores. In 2023, they nearly tripled that to 744 crores. And then by 2024, they nearly tripled it again, hitting a massive 1,940 crores in revenue. I mean, this is the exact kind of hyperscaling that venture capitalists dream of. And it's what allowed Physics Wallah to secure hundreds of millions in funding, most recently raising $210 million to fuel even further expansion. But right as the revenue hit the stratosphere in 2024, a massive friction point suddenly appeared in the headlines. Despite the booming revenue, the company officially reported a colossal loss of 1,158 crores. Wait a second. What? At first glance, this looks like a glaring contradiction. Are they finally falling into the same trap as the rest of the edtech industry, suddenly burning cash just to fuel top-line growth? To understand what's really happening here, we have to look closely at their books and separate reality from regulatory paperwork. We need to clearly define accounting loss versus cash loss. Now, a cash loss means actual money is draining out of the company's bank accounts to pay for operations. An accounting loss, however, is just an expense recorded on paper to comply with accounting standards. This often includes things like revaluing assets, adjusting for new funding rounds, or issuing stock options to employees. So the crucial point is how this plays out in the real world of hiring top talent. In edtech, your teachers are literally your most vital assets, and retaining them is highly competitive. Let's decode this. Say Physics Wallah offers a star teacher a total package of 25 crores. They don't hand over 25 crores in cash. They might pay 5 crores as an actual cash salary. The remaining 20 crores? That's given out as locked company shares, or ESOPs. The catch is, accounting rules require the company to record that 20 crores as an expense right now, creating an immediate paper loss, even though that cash hasn't left the bank. Add to this a massive 756 crore paper expense required purely for valuation markups when they crossed 1,000 crores in revenue, and suddenly, you have a massive reported loss that doesn't actually threaten their cash reserves at all. So armed with actual real cash from their profitable core and massive VC backing, they are now mounting an incredibly aggressive expansion campaign. They aren't just an app anymore. They have opened over 180 offline physical centers across India. They are pushing out of their Hindi-speaking stronghold by acquiring a 50% stake in Kerala-based Xylem for 500 crores to conquer South India. They've gone international by acquiring Knowledge Planet in the UAE, and they are rapidly moving way beyond just engineering and medical prep, launching brand new verticals for UPSC, chartered accountancy, banking exams, and even professional tech skills. But this lightning-fast expansion brings us to the ultimate friction point. Critics and analysts are watching this very closely, imparting a few serious reality checks. Online margins are great, but managing 180 offline centers means taking on massive fixed costs for real estate, physical infrastructure, and hundreds of local staff. Plus, moving away from their core expertise, which was Hindi medium engineering prep, into diverse languages, international curriculums, and wildly different exams introduces immense operational complexity. As they scale, we've already seen that managing a massive roster of offline teachers has led to some internal friction and public controversies. Managing the sheer scale without losing that original connection with the students is, for sure, their biggest hurdle yet. Which brings us to the most critical question as they march toward the public markets. Will this hyper-aggressive expansion fracture the incredibly efficient, profitable core model that made Physics Wallah an anomaly in the first place? Or is their unique blend of massive organic reach, high volume, and ultra-low pricing exactly what it takes to build the first true multi-billion-dollar sustainable edtech empire? The impending IPO is going to let the market decide, and honestly, it is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch unfold. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the data.